Welcome to the first lecture of two ports. In this lecture, we are going to see the introduction of two ports. Then we will see what are Z, Y, H, G, ABCD and small ABCD parameters. We will also see the symmetrical and reciprocal networks in this video. So what is a port? A port is a pair of terminals like this. Let me call it as A and B. So a port is a pair of terminals from which current or any electrical signal can enter and exit from any given network. So if a network has only one port, we can call it as one port network, and its example being a generator or a motor. So what happens in a motor? In a motor, there is two wires which comes out, and there is a rod which rotates when the electricity comes inside this motor. So you see that from this network, motor network, only these two ports come out, which is in the form of wire. So the motor can be classified as a one port network. Similarly, what is two port network? So in a two port network, as the name suggests, there will be two ports like this. So since there are two ports, there will be two voltages at these terminals. Let us call as V1 and V2, and similarly there will be two currents also, I1 and I2. So as a convention, we will take the currents I1 and I2 entering into the network. So this same convention we will be following throughout this topic of two-port networks. So what is the example of two-port network? Definitely a transformer. So in any transformer, there will be windings on the two sides. It can be either be a step up or a step down transformer. So what a transformer does is it changes the voltage from input to output. So a transformer is a very good example of two-port network. So to go further into the two-port network, what will be the parameters and what will be the things which we will be using to define this particular topic? So for any network, there can be anything inside this box and you don't know what is it. If you know certain things like voltage at this terminal and voltage at this terminal and current entering this terminal and current entering this terminal. So if you can somehow relate these quantities V1, V2 and I1, I2 using a set of parameters, then you can actually define all the characteristic of this particular given network. And you don't even need to know about whether this network is made of resistor, how many resistors are there, what are those values, then capacitors and inductors and so on. So only by using the relationship between these values V1, V2 and I1 and I2, we will be able to characterize this network, and to do that we will be using certain parameters. So let us talk about those parameters that we are going to use. So depending upon the relationship between these variables, V1, V2, I1 and I2, we are having total six types of parameters. These are called Z parameter. It is also called open circuit parameter or impedance parameter. Then we have Y parameter. It is also called short circuit parameter or admittance parameter. Then we have H parameter, which is very important in the not only in the network theory, but when you study analog electronics, this H parameter will be very important in characterizing BJTs, transistors, and these MOSFETs, right? So you are going to see this H parameter a lot in your subject like EDC, electronic devices and circuits. So H is also called hybrid parameter. Then we have just inverse of H parameter as G parameter. And then we have ABCD parameter. This is basically transmissions lines parameter. So you must have seen these big transmission lines that carry electricity from one city to another city or generating station to the power grid. So to characterize those transmission lines, we use these ABCD parameters, or we also call them T parameter, T for transmission. And inverse of this ABCD parameter is a small ABCD parameter. So we are going to quickly see all these parameters. So before that, we know that we have 4 variables. So for any 2-port network, basically we have 2 ports. So we have these voltages V1 and V2, and then current I1 and I2. So these are 4 variables, and in characterizing using any of these parameter, whether Z, Y, or H, or ABCD, there will be 2 of these variable V1, V2, I1 and I2. Of these 4, there will be 2 variables which will be dependent variable, and other 2 will be independent variable. So what is dependent? Dependent variables are those which are dependent on the independent variables and the parameters that we are going to study. So let us first start with Z parameter. It is also called open circuit parameter, and why it is called so, you will learn now. So there are 2 equations that characterize Z parameters. So as you can see, these 2 equations, V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2 is the first, and V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2 is the second equation. Since both these equations are voltage equations, so we can call them as KVL equations. So as you can see, we have this Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22 terms. So these are the different parameters of this Z parameter system. So as you can see, this V1 and V2 are dependent on Z11, Z12, Z21, Z22, as well as this I1 and I2. So we can say that V1 and V2 are here the dependent variables which are dependent on the variables I1 and I2, which we can say that are independent, right? So suppose if you want to find the value of Z11, how can you find it? You can just find it by making I2 is equal to 0. So here, if you come to this circuit, if you have to make this I2 is equal to 0, what you will have to do? You just will have to keep these ports open circuit. So if these ports are open circuit, obviously when there is a no connection, this I2 is going to be 0. So Z11 can be said when I2, we keep I2 is equal to 0. In that case, we can say that Z11 is V1 upon I1, and we write it like this when I2 is equal to 0. Similarly, we can say that Z12 is equal to V1 upon I2 when I1 is equal to 0. So in this case, we have kept this input terminal as open circuit so that I1 will become 0. So similarly, we can characterize Z21 is equal to V2 upon I1 when I2 is equal to 0, and Z22 is equal to V2 upon I2 when I1 is equal to 0. So in all these, the definition of these parameters, one thing you are seeing that one of the currents are being made 0, which means one of the terminals are being open circuit. So to find all the values of these parameters, you have to make one of the ports as open circuit. That is why these parameters are also called open circuit parameters, right? So this is the funda behind this. So we have these parameters, and depending on these values, we have some specific names for these Z parameters as well. So this Z11 value is called open circuit input impedance or driving point input impedance. Why is it called so? Because as you can see, this Z11 is having a value of the ratio of V1 divided by I1. So obviously when V1 is divided by I1, you are going to get the input impedance of the circuit. So that is why it is called input impedance and open circuit, because the output terminal has been open circuited. This is also called driving point input impedance because you are driving into the circuit. So that is called driving point input impedance. Similarly, Z12 is called open circuit transfer impedance. Why transfer? Because this impedance is being transferred from one port to another port. So from this definition, you can see Z12, we have voltage as V1, but current as I2. So it is the ratio of input voltage to the output current. So it is a kind of a impedance which seems like it is being transferred between port 1 and port 2. So that's why this Z12 is called open circuit transfer impedance from port 1 to port 2, and similarly Z21 can be called as open circuit transfer impedance from port 2 to 1. Now similar to Z11, Z22 is open circuit output impedance having a driving point, it is also called driving point output impedance, right? Now using these parameters and using these KVL equations, we are going to form an equivalent circuit. Since all these values Z11, Z12, these are all impedances, and since these are voltage equations, so using these KVL equation, we are going to make a circuit which will represent this network, right? So let us do that. Now as you can see that I have written these equation here only. If we take V1, so let me make first of all these two ports between which we are going to draw our equivalent circuit. So in the first port, obviously we are going to have the voltage V1 and a current I1 will be entering, obviously. And in the output, we are going to have V2 voltage and the current I2 is going to enter. Now, if we have to write this equation in the circuit form, what we are going to see is V1 should be equal to a multiplication of Z11 into I1. And since this Z11 is an actual impedance, we are going to write it as an impedance Z11. Now, we see that this Z12 is also an impedance, but since it is multiplied with I2, we cannot just take directly and multiply it with I2 and put it a particular Z12 impedance here, because it will create complexity. So what we are going to do is we are going to assume this as a dependent source which is depending on the output current. So what we are, since this current is entering here, the drop will be like this. And similarly, since this dependent source Z12 into I2 we are going to add, its positive sign will be here, and then we will write it as Z12 I2. So this dependent source which is at the input end is having a value of voltage of Z12 into I2, which is depending on the current I2 which is flowing actually into the output side. So we have to make this dependent source because we don't know whether this output current will somehow come to the input port or not, right? So this voltage drop is depending on the I2. Similarly, if you draw the output side, you are going to see that in this particular network, V2 is equal to Z21 into I1. So this Z21 into I1 is basically term is depending on the input current I1. So let us leave it for now. We are going to see this Z22 into I2. So what will happen with this Z22 into I2? I2 is current entering, and we can directly take this Z22 term as impedance, right? So the drop will be like this. And now we see that this term is dependent on input current. So we are again going to draw a dependent voltage source like this. And its value will be Z21 into I1, right? So if you see the combination of this circuit, this whole combination can exactly represent the network that we were discussing about. So generally we connect these two bottoms of these two input and output ports with this single line, so that it basically represent a single network, right? So if even if you don't connect, it doesn't matter. So I have drawn this circuit more clearly so that you will better be able to draw on your copy. Now, similar to the Z parameters, Y parameter has also two equations. Here I1 and I2 are dependent variables, and definitely V1 and V2 are going to be independent variables. So Y parameter is also called admittance parameter. Obviously, because all these Y's are admittances whose unit will be mho, and in the previous case, all those Z's were impedances whose unit were ohm. So using the similar approach in the previous case, we can find the values of all these parameters. Y11 will be I1 upon V1, but when V2 is equal to 0. So making V2 is equal to 0, let me draw the basic network before telling you further. So as you can see in this circuit, if you want to write y parameters for it, if you want to find this first parameter y11, you have to make V2 is equal to 0. So in order to make V2 is equal to 0, what you will have to do? You will have to short circuit this terminal, right? Short circuit has a voltage drop of 0 volt. So this y11 will be equal to I1 upon V1 when V2 is 0 or the output terminal is short circuited. Similarly, y12 will be equal to I1 divided by V2 when V1 is equal to 0. So in this case, we have short circuited the input terminal. Now again, we can write y21 is equal to I2 upon V1 when V2 is equal to 0, and similarly y22 is equal to I2 upon V2 when V1 is equal to 0. So as you can see, for calculating all these parameters, we are either sorting out this first terminal or the second terminal. So that is why this y parameter is also called short circuit parameters, right? Like the Z parameters were also called open circuit, y parameters are also called short circuit parameters. So similar to the previous case, like Z11, Z12, this Y11 is called input admittance, or you can also say driving point admittance. Sorry for my writing. I'm writing it fast, that's why it's very bad. So you just listen it. Y11 is called input admittance or driving point admittance. Y12 and Y21 are called uh, transfer admittance, either from port 1 to 2 or port 2 to 1, and then Y22 are called basically output admittance. And since all are short circuits parameters, so we will add just short circuit here. Short circuit transfer admittance, short circuit input admittance, and short circuit output admittance. This is also called driving point admittance at output terminal. So this was input terminal, this is at output terminal, right? So now let us move to the next parameter, which is hybrid parameter. Oh, sorry, I just missed these equivalent circuit of this Y parameter. So before drawing the equivalent circuit, let me quickly write the equation. So as you know, these equations are KCL equations. So we have to write the current KCL equations in like we have to draw parallel branches of the circuits. So in KVL, you draw series circuit in which the sum of all the voltages are equal to 0. And in KCL, you draw nodes from where different current branches goes out. So as the convention, first we will draw these two ports, input port and output port, and definitely this is your voltage V1 and the current entering is I1, and this is your voltage V2 and current entering is I2. And now if you see the first equation, we have Y11 into V1 plus Y12 into V2. So definitely since we are having V1 voltage at input. So if we multiply an admittance here, which we can call Y11, then we can say this is Y11 V1. So this current which is entering here, this one, let me call it as I dash, it will be represented as Y11 V1. So we can call it as I dash. And now there is this current which is basically depending on the output voltage. So we cannot directly draw this as an admittance. So we have to take a dependent current source, right? And since both these directions are same, so this current direction will be here and its value will be Y12 V2. Clear? Now, similarly, similar to the input case, the output case will be like this. We will have an admittance Y22 here, which is output admittance, and then our dependent source whose direction will be like this. And we can just connect these two things and we can call this as Y21 V1, right? So why we are calling this Y21 and Y12 term as transfer admittance? Because they are transferring something from output to input side or input to output side. So this is the equivalent circuit diagram for your Y parameters. Now coming to the H parameters, we have two equations. The first one is this, and since this is a voltage equation, we can call it a KVL equation, and the second one is the current equation. So we will call it as KCL equation. So since V1 and I2 are two different kind of variables, and these are dependent variables, so we will find some hybrid kind of parameters. So in the previous cases, we were finding either only impedances or only the admittances. Here we are going to find a mixture of that, either impedance or admittance or combination of them, which we can call as unitless. So let us find out the values. So our first parameter H11 will be equal to V1 divided by I1 when V2 is equal to 0. So let me quickly draw the basic network also. So here you can see that finding H11, you have to find the ratio of V1 upon I1 when V2 is equal to 0. So we have to make the output terminal as short circuit. So you may say that this looks very similar to Z11, which was also V1 upon I1. But in calculating Z11, this value was not V2 is equal to 0, it was basically I2 is equal to 0. So Z11 is an open circuit parameter. But here, since we are taking V2 is 0, which means we are making this terminal short circuit, H11 is a short circuit parameter, right? So this H11 is basically not is equal to Z11, but it is actually equal to 1 upon Y11. So H11 parameter is basically equal to 1 upon Y11, right? So keep this in mind. Now coming to the H12, we will have V1 upon V2 when I1 is equal to 0. So V1 upon V2 means both these quantities are voltages. So this is basically unitless. And since this was impedance H11, its unit will be ohm. And this is basically unitless. Now, H12 can also be represented as Z12 divided by Z22. So you can go on and see the definition of Z12 and Z22. And when you find the ratio of these, when I1 is equal to 0, you will get H12. Now, let's find out the value of H21. So the value of H21 from this equation will be I2 upon I1 when V2 is 0. So it is I2 upon I1 when V2 is equal to 0. So this can basically, this is the ratio of both these currents. So this is also unitless. And since this is a short circuit parameter, we are making the output terminal as short circuit. This can be represented as, let me see, Y21 upon Y11. So you can go on and check using these definitions. This is true. So finally we have H22. So the value of H22 from the equation is I2 upon V2 when I1 is equal to 0, right? So this is basically an open circuit parameter, and you see that it is a ratio of current to voltage. This is basically representing admittance. So its unit will be mho, right? And since this is an open circuit parameter, this H22 is not is equal to Y22 because Y22 is a short circuit parameter. So we can say that H22 is basically 1 upon Z22. Clear? Because Z22 is an open circuit parameter. So now let us draw the equivalent circuit for this hybrid parameter. So before doing that, we will quickly write the equations. So as you can clearly see, since this is a voltage equation, this is KVL, and since this is in the input side, V1 is basically in the input side. The input side, we are going to make the equivalent circuit using the KVL equation. and I2 is in the output side. So the output side we are going to make using the KCL equation. So let us draw the input side first, and before that let us draw these terminals first. So this is how you will proceed to draw the equivalent circuit for any two-port network. So first you draw all these variables V1, V2 and I1, I2. And now if you see the first equation, H11 into I1. So this I1 current is going and it is going multiplied into H11, which is basically a impedance. So it becomes H11 into I1. And as you can see, this term is also voltage, but it is dependent on the voltage of the outside. So it has to be a dependent voltage source whose value is H12 V2. Clear? Similarly, coming to the output side, this is the current equation. And if you see this term H22 into V2, so V2 is multiplied by H22, which is an admittance. So this will become H22 V2. And this term, if you see H21 into I1, this term is also representing a current, but it is dependent on the current I1, which is at the input side. So this has to be a dependent current source whose direction is definitely downwards, because this also is downwards. Wait a minute. And its value will be H21 into I1. So this is the equivalent circuit of H parameter two-port network. Now coming to the G parameters, it is basically exactly opposite of hybrid parameters, and not as important as H parameters, but since we have to study it, these are the equations. The first equation represents a KCL equation, second represents a KVL equation, and this is how we will write the parameters. So you just pause the video and go through them. It is just similar to the H parameter, just opposite. And quickly we will draw the equivalent circuit for G parameters as well. So you can see the equivalent circuit of the G parameter. Uh, Actually input was KCL, so it will be a parallel circuit, and output was KVL, so it will be a series circuit. So it is represented like this. So now let's move to the ABCD parameter, which is also called transmission line parameter or T parameters. Now ABCD parameter is also called T parameter because it is basically defined for defining transmission lines. So as you see, that transmission line can be a pair of wire which goes from a place A to place B like this. And we can call the current at input terminal as V1, output as V2, but the current direction has to be the same. If the current is moving in this direction in a circuit, it cannot be in this direction at the other end. At the other end also, the current direction has to be same. But using the convention of the two port, if we are representing this transmission line as a network, as a two port network, then we have to take this current I2 as inside. But to make the correction for transmission line, since basically this I2 is actually going outside, so I have taken this negative sign in the equation. So wherever I2 is there, we have taken as it as minus I2, because we have taken this I2 direction as inside. And since this ABCD parameter is used for defining transmission line, the current I1 and I2 should be in the same direction. So that's why this negative sign comes in this equation which defines ABCD parameters. As you can see, the variables which are dependent are actually V1 and I1, which are both the input variables, and both these output variables V2 and I2 are dependent variables in the ABCD parameter. So let's define them. Let's define the ABCD. Now using these equations 1 and 2, we can find the values of these parameters A, B, C and D. So we can also represent these using the either impedance or admittance parameters, because some are the open circuit parameters and some are the short circuit parameters, right? So now tell me, using these parameters, A, which is unitless, B, which has a unit of ohm, obviously, C has a unit of mho, and D is unitless. Can you draw equivalent circuit for the ABCD parameter using these equations? Just think for a moment, pause the video here and think for a moment whether you will be able to draw an equivalent circuit using these equations or not. So it turns out you cannot, because simply in the previous cases when we were drawing the equivalent circuit, what we were doing, we were seeing that at the first equation was equation for one terminal or one port, and the other equation was for the other port, right? In all the cases, even in the h parameter or y parameter, you can see that first equation was representing a dependent variable of one port, and other was representing the dependent variable of the other port. So these two equations are representing some equation, whether KVL or KCL or a combination of them, as one equation for one port and other equation for the other port. So using these equations, we can draw the equivalent circuit. But in the case of ABCD parameter, you can see that both these equations are representing only the input parameter. This V1 is at the input port and this I1 is also at the input port. So if you draw, you are going to get two different combination of these equivalent circuit, which will only be for input port, and there is no equation which we can use to draw the equivalent circuit for the output port. So basically this is the reason we are not able to draw the equivalent circuit for ABCD parameter or transmission parameter, or we also say T parameter. So let's go to the last, which is small ABCD parameter, which is basically just opposite of ABCD or T parameter. Now talking about the small ABCD parameter, it is just opposite to the capital ABCD parameter, and instead of V1 and I1, we are having V2 and I2 as the dependent variable. So using these equations, we can directly find the ABCD parameter values, and we can say that we can relate these to impedance and admittance parameters as well, depending on whether they are open circuit parameters or short circuit parameters, right? Also, A is unitless, B has unit as ohm, C is mho, and D is unitless. And similar to the capital ABCD parameter, we cannot draw the equivalent circuit for a small ABCD parameter as well, because it only represents, both these equations are only representing the the output port. So we don't have any representation for the input port. So it is not possible to make equivalent circuit for a small ABCD parameter as well. So circuits can be either symmetrical or unsymmetrical. So what is a symmetrical circuit? Basically, these are of two types. One is left and right symmetry, and other is the ups and down symmetry. So we are talking about the left and right symmetry. So suppose we have a T network. A T network is is a kind of a two-port network, which looks like this. So you will see a shape of T coming out, right? So using this, you can see that a shape of T is, it resembles a shape of T. So let me call it as ZA, ZB, and ZC. So if you see this circuit, and we are talking about left and right symmetry, suppose. So if you draw a line right at the center of this particular circuit, and if you put a mirror in between, the circuit should be exact mirror image of the what is on the left side to the right side. So the left side and right side should be the exact replica of the circuit from the center of the circuit. So this is called the left right symmetry. Similarly, if you talk about the up and down symmetry, the circuit at the upside should exactly be the same as the circuit at the downside. But since we are talking about two-port network, so we only have to see as the left-right symmetry, because we have to see between the port 1 and port 2. So here, what will be the condition if this circuit is will be a symmetrical circuit? If ZA is equal to ZB, and doesn't matter what the ZC is, because ZC is already in the center, then we can call this circuit as symmetrical circuit. And if ZA is not ZB, then we will call it as unsymmetric circuit, right? So the circuit should be exactly same from the center in the left side and in the right side. So this is the definition of a symmetric circuit. So this kind of a circuit is called a T network. Let us see what a pi network looks like. So if I draw a circuit like this, remember all these circuits are two-port networks. So let me call it as ZA, this as ZC, and this as ZB. So this looks like a pi. How does a pi look like? Pi look like this, na? So if you see this circuit, it looks like a pi network. And if you draw a center line in between, so for this circuit to be a symmetric network, what will be the condition? Obviously, since ZC in the middle, it doesn't matter its value. So ZA should be equal to ZB. So if ZA is equal to ZB, it is symmetric. And if ZA is not equal to ZB, it is unsymmetric. Right? So this is the kind of a pi network. And let us see one another type of network, which is called a lattice network. So this kind of a network is called a lattice network. As you can see, the branches crisscross each other. And for this network to be symmetrical, we have to have ZB is equal to ZC. Since if you draw a line between here, you see that ZB should be equal to ZC. And also if you want an up-down symmetry, this ZA should also be equal to ZD. So if you draw a line this, the upside and downside, if you want it to be symmetric too, so in that case, you will like ZA is equal to ZD. So this is the condition for symmetric network. And if these are not equal, so this is the condition of unsymmetric network. Right, so these are symmetric and unsymmetric network. So now what I'm going to do is for all these main parameters, which are Z parameter, Y parameter, hybrid parameter, and ABCD parameter, I'm going to write the conditions for their parameters so that if those conditions satisfy, those particular circuits will satisfy the symmetrical property. And also we have already studied about the reciprocal network in our network theorems. So if you remember the reciprocal network, if we replace the source and excitation, and if the ratio of response to the excitation remains same, the circuit is said to be reciprocal, right? So we are with the condition for symmetrical network, we are also going to the condition for reciprocal network. And since we have already discussed reciprocity, we are not going to discuss this again. I am going to directly write the conditions under which the circuits will be either symmetrical and reciprocal, right? So for a circuit with Z parameters, for a two-port network with Z parameters to be symmetrical, we would have to have Z11 should be equal to Z22. So if this condition satisfied, the circuit can be called as symmetrical. And for reciprocity, the transfer impedances should be same. Z12 should be equal to Z21. Similarly, for the admittance parameter, for the circuit to be symmetrical, this Y11 should be equal to Y22. And for it to be reciprocal, the transfer admittances which are Y12 should be equal to Y21. Now coming to the hybrid parameters, things get a little complex. So in this case, for the H parameter based two-port network to be symmetrical, H11 into H22 minus H12 into H21 should be equal to 1. So this is basically H12. Let me write it again. H12. So H11 into H22 into minus H12 into H21 should be equal to 1. And for it to be reciprocal, this H12 should be equal to minus H21. Also for ABCD parameter, if the circuit has to be symmetrical, the value of A should be equal to D, and for reciprocal, AD minus BC should be equal to 1. So using the basic properties of reciprocity and symmetry, you can actually go on and solve the two equations for all these parameters Z, Y, H and ABCD, and you will find these equations that satisfies either symmetry or reciprocity. Thank you.